Hey Homeworthy, I'm Dan. Welcome to my Edwardian home in Essex. Come on in, I can't wait to show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Dan Matthews. I'm a print designer and content creator. Welcome to my home in Essex. So I moved to Essex in May 2020 in the height of lockdown. And I was brought to Essex because my now husband lived here and I was working from home and we all needed to bubble up. So I was living in the East Midlands at the time, and basically it was either move in with him or move back to my parents as my contract on my rental property was up. Archie was like, move in with me and we'll just figure it out when life goes back to normal. Long story short, I didn't leave Essex and we moved from his one-bedroom flat in the town centre. We bought the house in September 2021. It's a 1908 Edwardian modest semi-detached house which had 2 bedrooms. It now has 3. And we've been pouring all of our time, effort, money, tears into renovating this property over the last nearly 4 years. Welcome to the modest hallway. When we moved into this house, there wasn't a wall here. The front door was straight into the front room, and I didn't want to have a full wall backup, so originally there's like a brick wall. It just really made the room feel a lot smaller, so we decided to put a stud partition wall in, so when you're sitting in the front reception room you can't see the front door, which I absolutely love. We fitted the front door and it's painted in below deck by coat paints. It's a lovely bluey grey colour and it's got such, I say, street appeal. This picture is quite special. When we got engaged in Paris in February 22, we bought this on our trip, so it's just really nice to have things and memories up, isn't it? So I absolutely love this poster. I love the illustrative style and I love the colours as well. So if you want to come with me to the other side of the wall, to the reception room, I'll show you in there. So when you walk into our home, you first come to this old sideboard, which was £10 from the British Heart Foundation that I painted, and it's where we store all of our shoes because in this house we really struggle for coat and shoe storage. So I thought it was a great place to put it. Is as you're leaving the house, as you're coming in, you can put everything in there, and it's just a great place to display your gorgeous bits. And this is a lovely piece of pottery that I bought in Mallorca at the market in Soye, and something just really drew my attention to it. I think it was the colours, the shape, the size. I just absolutely love it, and it's a great plate to have near the front door. We also have a couple of photos. These are from our legal wedding day and our actual wedding day, and it's just nice just to have photos of life around the house, I think. And this piece is really special to me. This is a sign that was on my Grandad Ralph's living room door, and it was a curfew for the grandchildren that they could only go in between 7:30 and 9:30 p.m. And I just love handwriting. I think it tells so much about a person, and I think that framing like signs or letters of loved ones that aren't with us anymore is such a lovely touch in the house, and it really makes you remember them. So this is such a special piece to me. On to my favourite Facebook Marketplace bargain of the century. I actually bought this before we even completed on the house. I saw it, I screamed, I was like, oh my gosh, we've got to have it. And it's a Laura Ashley sofa bed that was in someone's spare room. It had hardly ever been used. There was a bit of colour fading, and I was just like, it's me and a sofa. We've got to get it. I think it was £150. We got Archie's van and we just went and got it, and we had to put it at its parents' house for a couple of months till we got the property. But oh my God, I just feel like it's a piece that I'm going to have for life. I absolutely love the colours. It's such a statement in a room, but it's also so easy to pair with other things as well. And then on here, I have a penchant for a John Lewis cushion. And I've got quite a few of them. I've collected over time, but I just love the different fabrics and the different colours and the textures. And I don't know if you've noticed yet, but I absolutely love a stripe in any form. So I love to clash a stripe, and I just think these work perfectly. So onto the alcoves. I absolutely love alcoves, and I think they're a great place to style and bring personality into a room. The painting that you see in the background, that was from the Frome Independent Market, and I think I got it for about £30. And I don't know who the artist is by. I just absolutely loved the colours, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to go perfectly in the green room, and it fits like a glove in the alcove, and it really just adds depth into the space where it's styled, and I absolutely love it. We've then got my first piece of Henry Holland ceramic, which I am mad for his sample sales. I go to everyone and buy too many things, and then I've got so much of it. So you'll see it dotted around many rooms of the house. But I think with the orange candle, it looks perfect there. And then further up, we've got 2 brass stalks. I think they're stalks. These were from my Nanny Pam's fireplace. When we were in the school holidays when we were little, she used to have a full fireplace of brass. And one of her jobs to keep us entertained was to polish it. I sound like a Victorian child. But yes, so when she sadly left us, I got the 2 stalks as a memory of her, and I absolutely love them. They're so cool, and sometimes you might see me on Instagram with a microphone on top of them as my microphone holder. This is a rechargeable lamp. We've got quite a few of these around the house. I absolutely love them. This is the Walter by Pookie, and they're just great to have where you don't have plug points. They just add a bit of ambience into each room, and I think it's got an Ellen Merchant lampshade on top. I just think it's a great piece. You can just put it outside when you're having a drink in the evening, or you can go on the table if you don't want to light a candle. Love. This is another letter with handwriting, and this is from my Niney, who was my granddad Ralph's wife, and she has the same initials as me. So I framed that as well, and I absolutely love it. And then this is a Joe Lycett book from his tour, and I just love the colours, and also Tutankhamun, who wouldn't love? So that is a fantastic piece too. Then onto the fireplace. This is a bow that I made from some leftover Ottoman fabric that we had on the back of a car at our wedding. And these little figurines I bought at the same market in Soye from like a lady. I thought they were really, really fun. Although I did break one recently, so I had to glue its head back on. Hopefully you can't tell. This mirror is a Facebook like glow up. It had a really horrible frame on it, and I basically made a bobbin mirror from it. That was probably one of the first DIYs I did for the room. So I do love it, and it's a great space to fill there. This is a Travertine Dansk coffee table, and I got this off Facebook, I think, for £100, and it's so heavy, but I just love the clean, sleek style of it and how it kind of is so cool, calm and collected within the chaos of the room. I love a coffee table book, I love a design book, so it's a great place to put them. And we've also got a couple of Henry Holland coasters also, which are really good. One of my favourite coffee table books that I've got is also one of my biggest design inspirations, and it's from the Bloomsbury Group, and it's called the Bloomsbury Look, and the colours are just fantastic, and it's all about the history of the Bloomsbury Group, and they lived at Charleston House, and it's like Vanessa Bell and Virginia Woolf, and it was like a collective, and they had the most incredible home with like painted like hearths and doors, and it's just such a fantastic inspirational place. So this is a fantastic book for colour inspiration for me and the whole movement. Another one of my interior design inspirations are Arndt and Pike. Although their style is different to mine, I absolutely love the way that they use colour, and I don't know if you can tell, but I love colour in my home, and I love to see how people use it in different ways. And then we have some of my Henry Holland collection. So this, again, is all pieces from his sample sale. This was meant to be a lamp base, but now it's kind of like an objet, which I love. And then this plate was from Arquette years ago, but I just love the colours together. And I love curating like little pockets of joy, I guess. Like I love nothing more than having like shop in your own home and finding things and putting them together and having little collections. I just find that really joyful. These are Murano that my mother-in-law brought back from Italy for me, which I absolutely love. And yeah, this plate was my nan's, and my friend Lily made me this vase. So yeah, I just love collecting things on my travels and friends buying things, and they kind of just seem to go together. I just absolutely love it. They clearly know me so well. This chair is in the bay window, and this is basically where the dog sits and looks out onto his kingdom. But I've zhuzhed it up for you today because usually there's a dog blanket on here. But I love this cushion from John Lewis. The colours, the woven, the stripe, the checkerboard, I just think it's absolutely fantastic. and I've got like an archet blanket there, which is lovely. We have the dog's toy basket there, which are all of his toys that he usually fetches out in the evening, and sometimes in the morning you wake up and they're all over the floor, so he's obviously had a good time in the night. These curtains I actually made, and they were quite a tricky feat because we've got this steel beam and there's a steel rod that came with the house, so we had to figure a way to get curtains into the room because otherwise it's very exposing from the street. So I do love them. I probably would have chose a different fabric in hindsight 4 years on, but I do think at the time they were the right choice. This is from Hal Haynes, a lovely plate, which I love, and I've had that for quite a few years now. I think that was a sample sale too. I love a sample sale, guys, honestly, they're fantastic. And this is where I work at the moment. So I have a little desk with my laptop, my Wacom tablet, my Pantone charts, and yeah, it's quite bijou and compact, and it doesn't always look like this, but it's a really nice space to work in actually. And this is a really special piece of art to me. I had some money left me from my grandparents, and it's my first grown-up piece of art that I bought, and it's a David Hockney exhibition poster from 1982. And this kind of based the theme for the room, like the colours from this poster. You can kind of see how I translated it into the room. The green, the oranges, a bit of purple, a bit of red. I just absolutely love it. And David Hockney is one of my favourite artists of all time, so this is such a special piece to me. I've always loved the colour green. Green has been one of my favourite colours of all time. When I was little, I had a grass green, bright green bedroom, like a headache. So now we've matured it, we've grown up a bit, and we've gone for Bancher by Farrow & Ball. And this has been painted for nearly 4 years. And I just think it's such a timeless, great colour. It's impactful, it could be moody, but in the sunlight it's got such a nice reflection where the colour bounces around the room. And I paired that with skimming stone at the top, which is like a greige. But I wouldn't normally use greige, but I thought it went really well with the warmness of the Farrow and Ball. And as you can see, the cornice here, this is what we put in, and it's an egg and dart style, and we also put a ceiling rose in here as well. And we've tried to do this in as many rooms as we can, just for cohesion and also restoring the property back to its original form. So this light is very low hanging actually, and the amount of times I've hit my head on this, I can't even count. It's the Helix chandelier from John Lewis, and I just felt like this room needed a bit of impact. And when you've got the windows open, sometimes it's a bit like a wind chime and it jangles in the wind, but I absolutely love it. And we rarely put the big light on in this house, but it's just really nice to have like a centerpiece and a moment on the ceiling. When we were looking to buy a property, we lost out on about 4 properties before we got this one, just getting gazumped by buyers. During the time of COVID, the houses were just going like so quick, and if you didn't get a viewing or you couldn't get a viewing in time, it was gone. So we were actually selling my husband's flat at the time, and we struggled to, well, we sold it and then we struggled to get a house that we liked because they kept on falling through. So we took the flat off the market, and then as soon as we took the flat off the market, this house came online. So I was like, no! Really sad because it looked like our perfect first home together. So after a couple of months, it wasn't on there anymore when we decided to put the flat back on the market, and we were like, oh, that's it, we just had to get on and try and find another home, it had gone. And then the flat was on the market, we'd sold it, and then this property came back on, and we were like, oh my gosh, it's meant to be. So we booked a viewing, and about 3 days later, we turned up, the estate agent showed us round, and I was literally in love. So in love, not playing it cool at all. I just need to play it cool. I was like, no, I really love the house. I just want to tell them how much I love it. Our offer got accepted, and we were so thrilled, and we moved in September 2021. The thing is that when we came to move in, and in this room initially, the front room, I was like, oh my gosh, Archie, the floors are sprung, they're so bouncy. And he was like, they're not sprung, the beams are rotten. So all the floor joists were completely rotten. We had to basically take up the whole floor, all the original wooden flooring, and literally you touched the joists and they just crumbled in your hand. And underneath this floor, because we're on a bit of a hill, there's a 5-foot void of just like dirt. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's down there? It was a bit like, oh, it's sticking your head under. So that was basically in the January, I think, we ended up having to rip the whole floor up and put fresh joists in, just to basically make sure we didn't fall through the floor when we were sitting in the living room. So yeah, it's been a journey, and we've definitely opened a can of worms. We've found a lot of things along the way, maybe naively going into like a property that's over 100 years old, thinking that, you know, you wouldn't have to do certain things, but now they're done, and we know that they'll last for another 100 years. So, you know, we've really tried to put the character back in the home, and we've like implemented by putting all of the plaster cornice back in each room with like the egg and dart. And because it's an Edwardian property, our ceilings aren't super high like a Victorian period home. So they're about 2.5 meters higher. So they're taller than like your new builds today, but they're not as tall as like the Victorian era. So we didn't want to go for something super deep in terms of the detail on the coving. I went for quite a shallow style, but it kind of gives that texture and still gives that like I don't know, like the elegance of a period home. And I was so keen to put that back into the property and try to maintain as many original features as we could, because I think when you're designing a home, it's really important to be sympathetic to the time period and the era, because you want to pass that home on to someone else, and hopefully they will continue to do the same. So welcome to the living room. This space is quite a dark space, so we really need to be clever with how we used colour in this room. So originally this was the dining room, and there was a big window here, and that looked out onto the side of the house and the back garden. But as you'll see in the next room, we did a bit of an extension, so we needed to block that up. And I was so keen to try and keep some natural light in this room, because I just love natural light, and I think it's so important to get it in every room if you can. So although we've got like a side alley down our house in between the neighbours, we put 2 small side windows in just to let that extra bit of light in. And then also we have the doors at the end which let light in also. But I really think this room lends itself to the autumn winter times. It's really cosy, and it can be really like warm, and I just love being in here in the winter. So we have, first off, this amazing sofa from Loaf. It's in battered shed, and it's called the Slofa, and it's really squishy and it's really puffy and it's really comfortable to sit on. But you do have to remember to plump the cushions every single day. But I absolutely love it. And then I bought this Indian block print quilted fabric from Merchant and Mills, which is an amazing fabric shop in Rye, which I recommend anybody visiting. And I kind of made like a sofa topper just to bring that extra texture and to bring another dimension to the sofa, and I absolutely love that too. And then these are just cushions from Marks and Spencer's, which I've had for a couple of years, but I think the colours go lovely in here, and I think the texture works really well. So I always think more is more with a sofa, like add different prints, add different textures, see what works, see what doesn't, because I just think sofas can be such interesting things to style. We're standing on a rug from Nordic Knots, and I bought this in the Black Friday sale a couple of years ago, and it's called the Folding Ribbons. And I just loved the colours, and this was kind of what informed the palette for the room. It's kind of like a rusty browny orange with a pink, and I just thought, oh my gosh, I love those colours together. We need to get this rug. The whole room can be based around it. As I say, it was a Black Friday sale purchase, so it was still quite expensive, but I feel like we're going to have it for years, and I absolutely love it, and it's such beautiful quality. So this rug kind of frames the space for the living room. This is an ottoman that I actually reupholstered, and it was £30 off Facebook Marketplace, and it didn't look like this. It had quite a lot of work to it. It had a very jazzy fabric. So I bought this linen from KLS Textiles, and it's still got the stripe in there, but it kind of harks back to the zigzag that we've got on the rug. And I love the colours, the tones of the blues. I think the blues go lovely with the pink and the orange and the rusts. So it's great for storage, for like we have our board games and stuff in there. And it's great for your cup of tea in the evening, or to put your feet up while you're watching the telly. This is a tray from Birdie Fortescue, which I absolutely love the colours. And it's like, again, a stripe, so why would I not love it? And I just have a couple of coffee table books on here normally. We have a couple of coasters. It's quite pared back, it's quite low key. There's a little candle. And yeah, it kind of just, you know, brings a centre point to the room. I think that's really, really important. This is a tissue box cover that my friend Emily made me, and I just think it's so fantastic, like just elevating the everyday. Like, why would you not want to pull a tissue out of a quilted tissue box? And everyone always asks about it when they come round, and I just think it's so great. So that was a lovely birthday present from my friend. And then this is one of my favourite interior design books, New English Design. And I would say that my interior style kind of fits within this realm. I'd say it's kind of like playful heritage. I love all like the craftsmanship and the texture and the colour and the prints, but I kind of like to bring a bit of joy and have a bit of fun with it as well. So on to the alcove. So obviously we couldn't go crazy in the alcoves this time because we have got the windows that we put in there after we blocked up the window for the extension. So we have cupboards either side which are full of things, and then I really liked the symmetry of doing this. So we have two of the same lamps. They're just from Next, but I liked the size, the grandeur, and also bringing the blue from the ottoman again. Then this side we have a lamp again, and then we have our save the date invite framed from our wedding. This is the living room, and you're probably asking, where is the TV? Well, the TV is behind this fish that I painted. Ta-da! Basically, I don't have a thing about tellies being hidden, but I don't like tellies above a fireplace per se. If we could have put it in the alcove, I probably would have put one there, but because we have the windows either side, we weren't able to do that. So my husband Archie is a carpenter, so he helped create this vision, and we basically built the original chimney breast out about 15 centimetres and made a niche in the wall to be able to house the TV, and then we had these shutters on these brackets on piano hinges, which then we can open and close. So I designed it so it looks like a picture when it's closed with the burgundy frame, and then we've got a hat which you'll see more throughout the home. And then when you open it, to be honest, these do stay open quite a lot of the time because I don't shut them every night after watching the Kardashians. But, you know, they're always a great talking point. People always ask when they come around, oh, what's that? What's that? So I'm really pleased with how that ended up. And because we built the chimney breast out so far, we managed to get a log burner installed. And I absolutely love the rectangular checkerboard tiles. It's just that bit of a different shape. It's a bit different. It adds texture and it brings the colour from the sofa into the room. So I absolutely love that. And then I designed the fire surround. I get inspired so much by Ham Interiors, and I love that they do this kind of detailing on their cabinets and their woodwork. So I designed this zigzag kind of shape, and it kind of adds that subtle texture, almost like the coving again, but draws your eye down. And I absolutely love it. And sometimes I forget it's there because it's so camouflaged, but how the light hits it, I think it just adds that bit of difference. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. And then it was quite hard to know how to decorate the top of the fireplace because we have the shutters opening and closing, so everything needed to be quite low. So I have a little Henry Holland candle here, which is so cute. And then I have this brass seal, which is also a bottle opener. We love form and function in this home. And I think it's fantastic. I probably need to put it in the kitchen, but it's always just lived here. It's from the House of Brunswick, a great antique seller on Instagram, so definitely go and check her out. This is a candlestick from Archie's nan, Lillian, which has found its way here, but I just love it. I love the turn in it and the little pattern. Very, very cute. And then we just have like a log basket for the logs in the winter and like a kindling basket. And how cute is this little brush that I bought at a market in Anglesey, just to sweep the ash away, but I always feel like Cinderella. And this is a dog bed that our dog Blue never sits in or never sleeps in, so it's definitely just for show. Usually when his friend Darcy comes around, she will sit in there, but he won't. And then finally, we come to this corner of the room. So we've got the Jonesy armchair by Loaf in egg box. And it's a really comfortable, deep armchair, which I love sitting in. Again, it's feather, so you have to really puff it up. And then I've got this lovely cushion, which is like a quilt from John Lewis. Shock. Love a John Lewis cushion, as I just said. And this little side table is in navy, and it's from Nina Campbell. And it's a really nice little side table next to have to the armchair. You can put your cup of tea on. And then I love the rattan base at the bottom. It just adds that bit of texture, that bit of difference, and that bit of variety. Finally, I would say this light fitting in here is Laura Ashley, and it's from Facebook Marketplace. I think it was about 20 quid. I'm not a huge lover of it. My husband really doesn't like it, but it's kind of just stuck here, and we never put the big light on, so it's kind of just happened, but it kind of works. So I think ceiling lights are so hard to buy and the right thing to find for the right space, so it's staying for now. And also it's 30 quid, you can't complain really, can you? From a child, I've always loved art and design, like colour, drawing at the kitchen table, painting, like mad for it, absolutely loved it. And when it got to like my A-levels, I did A-levels in textiles, and I was like, maybe I want to continue this more. So I went and did an art foundation, and there was a lady who was my tutor, Amanda Clayton, and I just absolutely loved her, and she was a textile designer, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I want to go and do textiles at uni. I would absolutely love to be a print designer, design wallpapers and fabrics. I went to the University of Huddersfield and I studied surface design for fashion and interiors, and it's in Yorkshire, and there was loads of mills around there, and it was a really great course, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I genuinely had the best 4 years of my life. I did a sandwich degree, which means I did a year in industry. So I worked with the accessories team at Liberty. I did colour trend and forecasting at Marks and Spencer's. And then I also did some print design internships there. And I also did a high fashion internship with Jonathan Saunders, which was like London Fashion Week. And I loved the fast pacedness of it and how he came up with his ideas. And we were literally screen printing the fabric like a few days before the show. And I just loved the thrill of it all. So when I went back to my final year, I decided to change my direction from interiors and go into fashion. But look, it's a full circle. Now I'm kind of back into interiors again. But anyway, I went to New Designers, and that's where I was found by the high street brand Jules. And I absolutely love Jules for their English eccentricity, and it was so fun being on their print team for, I think I was there for 8 years, and I kind of climbed through the ranks, and I was print designer on accessories and footwear for women's wear, and I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, in the pandemic, my job came up for redundancy, and I decided to take the leap into freelance. So for the past 3 years, I've been freelancing as a print designer in the fashion industry. And while all that was going on, I had a home account for Instagram for our modest semi-detached home. And over the last 4 years, it's really grown, and I've absolutely loved documenting the journey for the community and sharing the highs and lows of renovating. Welcome to the kitchen. Now, this looks very different to when we moved in 4 years ago. It was a very narrow galley kitchen. I think I could probably lie down and touch wall to wall. And we had this void at the side of the house, which was just like gravel. So the plan was to always extend out to maximise the space, because the kitchen is the heart of the home and we love to entertain. And we spend so much time in this kitchen, so let me talk you through it. So first of all, we have these stairs down to the kitchen, and because our property is an Edwardian property, it's on many levels, and originally you only walk down 3 steps into the kitchen, but we had this void of about 2 foot underneath the ground, so we dropped the floor completely and we made it into 5 steps, and we get this ceiling height now, which is so lovely, and it's so light and airy. So when we walk into the kitchen, we have a print from David Hockney, which is from his exhibition at Salts Mill in Saltaire in Yorkshire, which if you've not been to, I definitely recommend if you're a lover of David Hockney. And this is from his exhibition where he did everything on an iPad. But I just love the colours, they work really well in the kitchen, and with that pop of pink and the blue, I just think it's fantastic. This is the first of many wall lights in the kitchen. This is from Pookie, and it's like a hand holding a sconce, which I love, and I love this like kind of like marbled inky lampshade. I just think it's a really nice little moment on the wall. And then this side, we had a bit of a blank wall, so I thought I'll just jazz it up and add some gorgeous bits. So this is actually a spoon rest from Ellen Clay, and I just stuck that above the light switch. Let's spoon. And this is from one of my friends, actually, Rachel Sanders' studio. She painted this foxglove plate, and I just absolutely love it. I love the colours, I love the texture. It's like a party plate from when you were at parties when you were little. And this is just a candle wall sconce from Zara Home. So when we came to design the kitchen, I really wanted a bold colour, but nothing that would age within a year, and I didn't want necessarily a neutral because I'm not a neutral kind of gal. So we went for bronze by Paint and Paper Library as a colour match, and it's such a beautiful deep brown. I guess it's bronze. When the sun hits the cabinets, sometimes it's like a deep green, like a waxed Barber jacket, and then other times it could be a really deep brown. And I just think it's timeless. It's a bold neutral, but I think you can pair it with so much decor over time when your tastes change, and kitchens are such big ticket items. I think it's really important to consider what colour you're going to paint it, because you want it to last and because you want longevity, especially when you're designing a kitchen. So this is from Smile Kitchens, and it's the Hampton range. It's an in-frame, which I think is beautiful, and it's timeless. Also, again, another reason why I chose it. And the worktops are from Artemis Stone, and it's called Arabescato Cremo, and it's a quartzite. I really wanted a marble, but I'm just so clumsy, and I would stain it as soon as it got put down, and I don't trust myself. I'd drop something, I'd crack it. So quartzite is man-made, but it kind of gives the effect of marble, and I love the veining, and again, it's neutral, but it's still quite bold in pattern, and it's a great supporter for all of the gorgeous bits and the decor in the kitchen. And we added an OG edge on all the edges of the worktops in the kitchen, because I think it gives that, more considered, it gives that more considered, elevated look, like you really thought about every single detail, and I really want people to walk in and realise that. So I absolutely love these worktops. I'm so glad it's what we went with in the end, because there was a lot of contenders. So up here is one of the places where I can curate lovely things, because we can't put a lot of weight on these shelves. So it's some lovely wine glasses. I got these from a charity shop. I think it was £3 for 4, but they're French. I just love the colours and I love the shape. There's a couple of chips in them, but we've had a good time. And then this is a stone from Findhorn in Scotland. And I spent about 3 hours on this beach curating the stones I was going to bring back. And we got to security at the airport, and the man made me take all my stones out of the suitcase and put them in this stone bucket. But I was like, we're in the same country. And he felt sorry for me, and he gave me this stone. But the funny thing is, I didn't choose this stone, Archie did. So it wasn't even a stone I picked, but a great memory because my friend lives up there. This is a cute little jug that I got from Oxfam for £1, which I love the colours. This is my friend Rachel again, a lovely mug with gold gilding. Oh, just fantastic. I never drink out of these things, they're just for show. And then there's a really lovely embroidery print at the back, which my friend Kat bought me for my birthday. And it says, "How do you like your eggs in the morning?" And I think that's just so lovely. This is the Pick wall light from Pookie, and I love how it's got a really long arm and it's got quite a spotlight. So at night, when we just have like the wall lights on, it kind of creates a lovely ambience. And yeah, I just love the black and the gold with the brown. I just love it. Yeah, fantastic. So we chose these tiles for the wall, and they're from the Porcelain Superstore, and they're the Dolce Vita blue. And I like how they're all slightly different tones of blue, and they kind of reflect the light in the room, and they go so lovely with the brown. So I'm really glad that we ended up with that choice. We popped an extractor fan in here, and we boxed it out just to kind of hide it, because I wanted that feeling of a kitchen that is kind of like homely, but it's not necessarily a kitchen like a super clinical kitchen. So I really like all the details with the beading. And again, another curation station, which I'll talk about in a second. This oven is from Smeg, and I love the contrast of the brushed gold with the cold steel and the aluminium, and it's such a great piece. It's a great range cooker, and just love it. And it's even got a little drawer at the bottom for your trays, so you don't have to worry about storage. This is an oven glove that I bought from Cutterbrooks, and I think it must be like an old Indian quilt. And I just love the colours. I actually bought this before we even had the kitchen, even thought about designing it. I just loved it, and it just instantly drawn me to it. So I absolutely love this piece. Another gorgeous textile. This is a salt pig from the House of Brunswick, where I got my seal bottle opener from. And I just love the colours and the pattern, and it's quite big for a salt pig, but obsessed with the size. I think you can hang it on the wall, but there's no need to do that. But love it, and it's got salt on the back. So that is a great piece to have in the kitchen. And just another rechargeable lamp. This is from Next. And yeah, again, love having the stainless steel with the gold, and it's just an easy thing to have out and around the house whenever you need a bit of light. We've like Florence Nightingale walking through the night, trying to find the toilet. And then we finally got another shelf of bits, the other side of the cooker. This is from Studio Aroj. It's one of his ghosts, I believe they're called. I've had that for years. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head. This is from my friend Rachel again, another lovely mug. And then this is a little glass from my nanny Pam, where she used to have a sherry out of it, I think. And I used to take my ginger shot out of it. Upgraded to this little shot glass from Anna and Nina, a magic potion. Ginger shots really are a magic potion. I love them. These little sherry glasses are from a charity shop, which I love the colour of the amber. I've got 4 of those. I've never actually used them. I don't know what I would use them for, but I thought they're very sweet, and they look great against these glasses, which are, they look great against these glasses, which I got from Zara Home about a year ago in the sale. I just love all the colours. I think they're fantastic. And then we've got another pick light the other side, so it just really frames the kitchen beautifully. And we've got a fish. You'll see a lot of fish actually around this house. It's kind of like a reoccurring theme. We've got the fish on the shutters in the living room. There's a little fish dotted around. This is just a fish with a candle in, because why not? Pop it on the table. And then above either side of the units, I've got plants, just because I wanted to bring a bit of greenery into the space. I've not killed them yet, which is, really good for me. But I love this asparagus fern. It's just so wispy and lovely. Or sometimes it does get, sometimes it does get trapped in the fridge door. Maybe that's why it just fell off a little bit. But yeah, that's the main centre of the kitchen. And then if we come over to the island, we put this window in the extension because we really wanted to bring light in, and we didn't want to have full doors across the back because I kind of wanted to segregate it and use this as a kitchen space and have the doors as a social space the other side. We decided to go for aluminium windows, and I got them painted in the RAL Reed Green, which is just such a lovely soft olive green, which kind of lends itself to the red thread of the colour theme of the house. And I think it's really timeless, and I think it looks, I'm just so happy with how they turned out. This is a Roman blind from Next, again a stripe, but I thought the yellow with the brown and the blues is another colour that you'll kind of see throughout the kitchen, and I think, I'm just really happy with it. I just love the quality of it and the yarn dye stripe. This is a plate from Ellen Clay, and it says, "I go home early," but I just love the illustrative style and the red line around the edge, and I just thought it was the perfect place to pop it above the window. This is a lampshade from Alice Palmer from her sample sale, which I absolutely love. And again, it's a stripe, and it's just on a swan neck from Pookie. And this is another fish that I bought in Mallorca in April this year, and I just stuck it on the wall with a command strip. But I just love fish so much. And then this is a frame from H&M Home, which I don't think they sell anymore. I get asked all the time where it's from, but I just love the zigzag edge. And then I actually just put a wallpaper sample in the mount just to jazz it up a bit and just to make it feel a bit more me. And then this is a photo of me and my husband Archie on our legal wedding day, cutting the cake. So it's a lovely photo to look at every day. Again, we've got double doors into the garden that isn't finished. So sorry, spoiler alert, I won't be showing you today, but maybe I'll give you a little peek of the table. Nice plants. But yeah, this is a double bifold door that swings out. So it's like indoor, outdoor living when we get a patio. But at the moment, we've just got some shears just to give us a bit of privacy and just to kind of forget the building work sometimes. And we have these curtains which match the blind, which close fully, and it's really cosy at night when you've got all the lamps and the wall lights on. And again, this is in the stripe. Love it. This is the island, and we both wanted an island, but we didn't know if we were going to be able to make it work because the kitchen's like 4 meters wide. So we had a call with the kitchen designer. We decided to finally fit it in. But we've got 2 stools here, which are just from Gumtree. They're a Zara Home. They're like placeholders. It's not my dream stool, but they're perfect for what we need, and they slide under the counter perfectly. And here, my pride and joy. This is a Birdie Fortescue lamp, and I absolutely love it. It's all made from precious stones. It's very weighty, which is quite good to have on the edge of an island because I don't feel like it's going to go anywhere if you knock it. And it's got a beautiful rattan lampshade. And we just have a bowl of bits. Like, you have bits like pens and like matches to light candles, but I think it's beautiful. It's from Toast, and I think it's a Polish I think it's from Poland. I think they got it in. But I just love the like marble pattern. I think it's so, so beautiful. And again, the colours for the kitchen, it kind of all ties in together. And then we have a little cupboard this side, which is actually my like tablecloth and napkin cupboard, which I took inspiration from Laura Jackson years ago when I saw her talking about her tablecloth cupboard. Hers is a lot bigger than mine, but you know, it's good. And I have all of my little, oh gosh, have all my napkins in here and all my tablecloths and like candlesticks and it's chaos in here. It's like my brain. But I just think it's a great place just to have everything in the kitchen so you can quickly swap and change things out. So if you're designing a kitchen and you're into like tablescaping, if you can fit one in, I recommend. So this table is very specific in size because we don't have the biggest amount of space between the wall and the island, but we still wanted something that you could sit a load of people around and have friends and family around for dinner. So this was actually a side table from a really big house we found on Facebook. And it was 30 quid and it needs a lot of work doing underneath it, but we put a bit of a ply top on and, you know, a tablecloth can hide a multitude of sins. But it was funny when we went to pick it up and the lady was like, oh, are you putting it in your hallway? I was like, oh no, it's actually going to be our dining table. And she just looked a bit like confused. We can usually get around about 8 people. So it's so lovely when everyone's here for tea and like we're in the kitchen and we can like host. And that's always what we wanted when we designed this kitchen, was to have a place where you could entertain but also be with the guests too. These napkins have embroidered donkeys on them and I got these when I went on a ski trip with Archie's family to France. When I've been, there's this shop and it has loads of like lace and like tells and fabric. Like it's a shop you just walk past and not go in, but I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go in there. And they've had this whole donkey collection. I was like literally obsessed. I went straight to the till with 4, like they've got my name on it straight in the bag. It's on a stripe as well. And I just think they're so lovely. They're from a brand called Sylvie Therese. I don't think I've pronounced that correctly. Apologies, Sylvie. But beautiful, love those. These are just from Sostrena Grena. I think they're mistletoe, but they're kind of an all year round piece here. And the candles are just from Tiger. This wave plate, I absolutely love it. It was a wedding present and it's from Rosie Gore. And it's so nice just to pop a vase on. It kind of adds another layer and depth of pattern. This piece of art on the wall is a Cecil Beaton photograph from Kinga Magor, and it's got David Hockney, Maudie James, and I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, Peter, I think it's Schlingler. And it's a photo that was in Vogue in 1968, I believe. But I just love the colours. I love how the flash reflects off her sequin dress, brings lilac into the room, and also these colours you can kind of see in the lampshades. So the floor is from Floors of Stone and it's a checkerboard and it's like ecru and white. And I was a bit nervous about choosing it because I didn't want it to be constantly dirty. But because it's porcelain, it's super durable and wipe clean. Like I'm just swinging a mop round every night before I go to bed with muddy paw prints or whatever, but it just cleans so quickly. So I thought I was going to regret the choice, but at the moment I'm not. And I really think with the brown cabinets having the light floor and the light walls, I think it just kind of like lifts everything. And I think that's really, really lovely. The wall colours that we have used in the room is Sand 5. So it's a neutral, but it's kind of like a bit more yellowy in the sunlight. And I think it's such a beautiful like shade of neutral. We've actually used it in the bathroom as well. And then we painted the skirting boards bronze by Paint and Paper Library to match the cabinets. So it's kind of like a line all the way around the room and through the architrave. And I think that it kind of ties everything in a bow quite lovely. Here is the pantry larder cupboard, which we did add a hat on top of because I just wanted to kind of make this a conversation point of the room. I wanted people to look up. And we had this void space and didn't want to put more plants up here. So I was like, oh, if we can make another pediment to put on the top, which my husband did, and then we painted it the same colour as the cabinets. I think it just looks really, really good. Really happy with it. And I'm glad we decided to make that choice. So this is our larder cupboard, which we keep a lot of our food. I also keep the coffee machine, toaster, soda water maker. Just like we don't have a lot of worktop space, so I wanted to like enclose as many appliances as we possibly could because I didn't want it to look really cluttered, and it's just more space for gorgeous bits. So this is like a very hard working area, like coffee every morning, toast, a little butter dish. This is from H&M, which I love. This cute little butter knife is from Zara Home. and then have like platters that when we're using to entertain, but it kind of like hides the plug sockets, which I quite like. And these are just Kilner jars from IKEA. Just for your pasta, your rice. I need to have a little top up on the GF penne. And then these are lovely, like, not melamine, like tin bowls, which I absolutely love. Got fish in them again. And then this is kind of like just more of a curated shelf in the pantry. But I worked once with Cornish ware, and I got these modest semi-mugs and a teapot, which I absolutely love. So I've not drank out of them, but I probably will at some point. But I just think they're really fun, aren't they? So they're fantastic. And then we have drawers for like all of our vegetables and like, you know, your biscuits, all your bits, alcohol, tea bags, yeah, squash. And then these are really good for like spices and just anything else that you need to store. Another pepper shaker. Honestly, I've got so many of them. You never know when you need pepper. I love pepper. Another fish. But yeah, that is the pantry cupboard. And if you can fit one in your home when you're designing your kitchen, I really recommend it because it kind of just like closes off the chaos. And also you just know where everything is because there's only one space for it. But yeah, that is the larder cupboard. And then it's this way to the utility room. So when we designed the extension, we had this dead bit of space that we didn't know what we were going to do because we have the stairs behind this cupboard, which goes obviously upstairs. And there was just going to be like this void, and we could have kept it open, but we decided to build in a stud wall and make a utility room. This is a very hard working room of the house, and it is the smallest with 1.4 metres deep. But it's one of my favourite rooms. It's the one that's most recently completed, which is maybe why. But I just love the colour. It's called Big Hoops, and it's from Coat Paints, and it's a collaboration with Stacey Dooley. And it's such a beautiful, like, it's big caramel in some lights, it's olive in others. It's just such a nice, deep, rich texture. And it kind of leads on from the bronze from Paint and Paper Library. It kind of adds like another dimension. It's kind of flowing on from the room. So I'm really happy with that colour choice. It was a very last minute decision that the painter was here to help get some painting done. And I said, stay, don't go. I said, I'm just gonna go and quickly get a colour mixed up. And I did it. And I'm just so happy with how it turned out. These cabinets are just from Howdens. This houses the boiler. This just houses, you know, like cleaning kitchen bits. And then these tiles are left over from the bathroom, which are from Sapietra, and they're the Bordeaux Maroc porcelain tile, if I remember. And we luckily had just enough to do that, because I always overbuy on tiles when we're doing a room because you don't want to wait for another delivery because the delivery cost is so expensive. So I'm really happy with how they turned out. And we didn't actually put a grout line in these because I wanted it to look more like a block of colour, and this room isn't ever really going to get wet. I mean, I wash the dog's paws in the winter in the little sink, but other than that, it's very much like quite a dry room, so I didn't feel the need to grout them. These are just from Zara Home, just like a detergent bottle, like ceramic, and then like for your tabs. And then I actually bought this in Barcelona in January in a flea market, and I didn't know where it was going to go. I just really loved the painting. It's an original by an artist called Vinay, I believe. And I just bought it home. I could have bought so much, but I only had to carry on luggage. And then when we were finishing up this room a few weeks ago, I was like, oh my gosh, it's the perfect piece. The colours, it's kind of like got the gold in. And the subject matter, it's like the gals hanging out the washing. So it's perfect for the utility room. I absolutely love that piece. And then I recently made these curtains to hide like the washing machine. I think there's actually washing in there, you know. And but this is a lovely brown and green linen stripe from Merchant and Mills. The most beautiful linen. Love that. And I made a little cover for this side also as well. This is another print from the Picasso Museum, and I just thought the colours worked in here really well, so I just stuck it up. But I think, yeah, it's great, love it. I think eventually we'll add shelves, you know, for like more of your storage and things, but for now, it's perfect. And we had a couple of issues with hiding things because it's such a small space. We have like an electric box and we have like a pump for like the underfloor heating. So I made another curtain, and I kind of, from memory, matched the wall colour quite well. And this hides like our mops, dog leads, 2 bags. And you don't know where to hide all of these things. So I just bought a nice little wicker basket and just popped them in there. And then just kind of pull the curtain across, and it kind of camouflages them quite well. That's also quite a fun thing to like elevate the everyday. Like, you don't want a normal boring peg bag. Why don't you just have a little rattan handbag? Love. Oh, and then yeah, just a hook that I still need to put up. And I just thought this green plate looked really nice in here with the wall colour. But yeah, that is the utility room. It was definitely a room that took us a while because we basically ran out of money and we didn't want to start buying things unnecessarily, hence why we've recycled tiles from the bathroom, and I've like made things like curtains to like cover up the appliances rather than getting built-in cupboards. But I'm so happy with how it's turned out. I think it genuinely is one of my favourite rooms of the house. What I love about designing your own home is that it's authentically you. When you're designing for certain brands and customers, you're designing for that person, you're not designing for you, so it's a completely different head to when you're designing for yourself. So it's been such a joy to be able to design a home that me and my husband both love. And it's also challenged me to actually figure out what I like myself, and I've absolutely loved it. I feel like I've grown so much as a person, but as also a designer. Welcome to the principal bedroom. I absolutely love the colour that we chose in here. It's Lion by Coat Paints, and it's a beautiful, like, subtle blue, but it can be grey in other lights, and it's just such a perfect bedroom colour. It's so calming, it's so serene, it's so relaxing, and they're the types of feelings that I want to feel when I'm going to sleep at night. And we paired that with Pablo on the ceiling from Coat also. I think it was the Laura Jackson collaboration. And as you can notice in here, unlike downstairs, we don't have the picture rails, so we painted straight up to the coving, and I actually really like that up here. It kind of like makes the ceiling feel taller. I love these wall lights that we got from Pookie, and then I just painted these stripes on these lampshades from B&Q, which I think are quite effective, and they kind of add a bit of texture because they're not like perfect, but I love those. And then I've got a little picture on the wall here, which was from the flea market in Barcelona. And I just thought it was quite a fun place to pop a little picture in between the light switch and the lamp. And it kind of just, again, draws your eye to the area. My trusty radio. I love radio. I listen to it basically all day because I'm at home 99% of the time on my own in the week anyway. And so like radio's like having a conversation with a friend. So I listen to the radio all the time, and the Roberts radio is just, yeah, just love it. Love the style, love how it looks. It's just a timeless piece. So I actually upholstered this headboard. It was my first upholstery project, and I'm so happy and proud of myself with it. We decided to make it super tall to give that more boutique hotel luxury feel. So I bought this fabric from Ratcher and Wright, and it is called Albasin in burnt sienna, and I just love the print. It's not a geometric, it's not a floral, it's like quintessentially British, I think, when I think of British design. It's hand printed in the Cotswolds. I just think, oh, just love it. I'm so glad that we decided to go with it. And it kind of frames the room, and the sienna goes beautifully with the wall colour. So this is like one of my prized possessions. Just so happy with how it turned out. The bedding is from Piglet in Bed. Love Piglet in Bed. Their linen is just so beautiful. I love how you can kind of like mix and match the patterns and the colours. We love a lot of pillows on our bed. I literally sleep with 3 pillows like this in bed. But yeah, I just love texture on the bed, like as many pillows as you can get on it. This is from Marks and Spencer's, and it's got a beautiful embroidery, and I love the striped piping. I just think, yeah, what a lovely finishing touch. And this bolster pillow, I actually made the cover from a tablecloth. Don't look too closely, it's not perfect. But yeah, I just like the length of it. I just think it adds another dimension to the bed. Then just a couple of quilts, which the dog clearly loves sleeping on, and that's from Nina Campbell and Toast. So the bedside tables we actually bought from HomeSense, and then we went to a stone merchant and got some marble cut for the top. Because I actually wanted marble tops on our bedside tables, and I didn't know how we were going to be able to do that or afford to do it. So we found the bedside tables, which we both really liked. And then I think, because these were offcuts, I think it was like £20 a piece for each bedside table. So I'm just so happy with how they turned out. Again, they add another couple of pieces of texture to the room. You've got the coolness, and then you've got the warm mango wood. Just really lovely. Hopefully you didn't see the dust that just came off that. This cupboard was actually here when we bought the house, and it was like pine orange pine, and there's one matching the other side of the wall. And originally we were going to take it out, and then I was like, no, I think we should keep it. I feel like it's probably original. I don't actually know if it is. But then I was like, oh my gosh, we can add a pediment, we can add a hat. So this was actually the first pediment that we ever added. And I just love it. It kind of, again, draws your eye to the ceiling, to this corner of the room. It kind of adds that subtle texture because it's the same colour as the walls, and it kind of brings a different dimension, as you can see, like the shade, like the darker light behind it. And I just so happy with how that came to be. I think eventually we want to try and replicate and add another one the other side, because clothes storage isn't, great here at the moment. So it'd be great to mirror that, I think, eventually, if we get the chance to do it. But just add hats to things, guys. It just really again, elevates the everyday. I love it. This is an original fireplace from when we bought the house. We've never done... Actually, top tip, if you want to make your fireplaces blacker without using like oil paint, we actually used blackboard chalk paint, which I saw as a hack online, and it kind of makes it matte. It kind of brings it back to life, and you haven't got to wait days for it to dry. And I'm just really happy with how that turned out. These candlesticks are from Anthropology, and I love a wonky candle, and the people online do not like a wonky candle, but it's actually broken. But I just love a wonky candle, so they just kind of stay there. I just knock it over every now and again. Again, another frame from H&M, and this was actually our wedding invite, which is just nice to have out. I need to get that framed, to be honest. The long-term plan is buying a mirror for the wall, but because the fireplace is off-centre, it's really hard to know what to buy for here. Maybe I need to have something to offset it here, but I've still not found the dream mirror. It's like ceiling lights and mirrors. I find them really hard to buy. I just think when I see them, I will know that that is the one. The checkerboard hearth tiles are from Millergross, London, and they're in honey and Mexican white. And just love those colours. And actually, they do match quite closely to the floorboards, which I didn't realise when I first bought them, but I'm not mad at it. But talking about the floorboards, actually, so we've never sanded these or anything. These are just what came with the house. And I really wanted a full wooden floor, and Archie really wanted a full carpeted room. And I was like, no, I don't want a carpet. So we came up with a solution. We went to Aladdin's Cave, this bargain bin at the carpet shop, and we found a piece of carpet, and then we measured I think it was 15 centimetres in from the perimeter of the room, and then we got the carpet whipped. So it was like a big rug. So it's kind of like the best of both. We got the carpet, and then we also got a bit of wooden floor. And actually, I'm really happy that we did that, because I quite like the carpet. And hopefully he likes the wooden floor, but who knows. So this chest of drawers was from the Freem Independent Market when I got the painting. We got them at the same day. And at the time we had a Mini, and it was a tight squeeze to get back home because we're both 6'3". So that was interesting. But this piece, it was 40 quid. We just needed a filler. But actually, it's ended up being here for 3 years, and we really love it. I love the little feet at the bottom. I love the colour. I'm not too precious with it. I just put vases and things on it. But I just think it's such a lovely piece. We've got another sample sale from Henry Holland. But this is such a fun shape, I think. And I love the blue and the cream, and it goes lovely in here again. And this lamp's from Nina Campbell, and it looks woven, but it's actually ceramic, which I think is quite fun. And rattan, just love a bit of rattan here and there in the rooms, because again, it adds that bit of texture and that bit of depth. This print is from Carla Elanos, I believe that's how you pronounce the name. And it's a print of an oil pastel floral. I just think it's lovely, especially as the blues are slight off tone to the wall colour, so it's kind of not jarring in your face, but it kind of, again, adds depth. It's all about layering when you're creating curated corners, and I think that piece is just perfect there. I actually made these curtains there with fabric from John Lewis, and it's my first flop over frill. And it was a bit of a head scratcher, but I'm really happy with how they turned out at the end. But don't look too close, because I've still not turned them up about 3 years later. But yes, they're very good. I think in retrospect, I probably would have put a blackout lining in them, but it's nice to be woken up by the sun, isn't it? So this print I still actually need to hang. It comes up and down from different places of the house, but it really belongs in here because of the colour frame. But this is a piece from one of our friends, and it was an engagement present, and it was and it's by Luke Edward Hall, and it's when he released his brand Chateau Orlando in Paris in February 22, and that's where we got engaged in Paris, and it was in February 2022, and Luke Edward Hall is one of my design inspirations. So it's just like an all-round fave, really. Just absolutely love the illustration style, and it's got a lot of meaning. So yeah, just really love that piece. And then finally, we have a dog bed that Blue rarely sleeps in, but it's such a cool colour, I think. It's from Hay, and I love the mismatch, and it's kind of chaotic and a bit crazy. But it goes all around the house, to be honest. But I just think it's such a great piece, and I think, why should you not buy fun things for your dog? Because they're just as important as us humans. So he does sit in it now and again, but yeah, he's just not really a basket kind of dog, but we couldn't help it but buy it. It's just lovely. When people step into my home for the first time, I want them to feel welcome. I want them to feel intrigued, like, oh, what's around the corner? What's different in that room to this room? I want them to feel relaxed, and I want them to feel a place that they can just come and have a good chat, have a good time, and yeah, just enjoy it all. My favourite thing in our home are the hats or pediments on top of a couple of our cupboards. I just absolutely love that they kind of bring a different dimension to the room. They make you look up, but they're not really in your face. It's kind of like subtle texture. And I think you'll find a lot of that through our home. I've tried to draw the eye into lots of different places, because I think not everybody always looks up in a house, and I think that sometimes is where the most amazing things are. And welcome to our bathroom. Now, this was part of the extension again, so when we were extending the little bit on the house, we ended up not having a bathroom or a kitchen for about 4 months, and I don't advise anybody to do it because it was not fun at all. But, you know, it was worth it in the end. We had to be really clever with how we worked. So we had to be really clever with how we used the space, and for storage and for a shower, and, you know, for obviously a vanity. So we decided to put the door in the middle, and then on either side we've got the shower, which is a walk-in shower. These are the same tiles as the utility room, and then we've also got like a cream, and I wanted to bring the stripe again that we've got throughout the home into the shower, and this goes all the way up to the vaulted ceiling, and it kind of just adds that bit of wow into quite a small bathroom, which I absolutely love. The shower apparatus, is it called, is from Roper Rhodes, and it's such a lovely quality. It's really weighty and it cleans beautifully, so I really do recommend them if you are ever looking for bathroom wear. And then so you come out of here, and then I got this wooden hook rack from Sostrena again. I think it was like £4, and it's a good place just to hang towels to grab when you come out of the shower. And I absolutely love these towels. They're from Piglet in Bed, and I just love how they finish the edges. It's like a bit of a frill, a fringe even. I just think, yeah, they're so beautiful, and the colours work perfectly in the bathroom, like this like ochre yellow and like this olivey foresty green. This is another fish. This is another fish that I bought in Barcelona. Honestly, it was a fish heavy trip. And that was from like a department store, and I think it's like an olive bowl, but I just stuck it on the wall. I thought it looked quite good up there. And then this blue panelling is actually the only bit of panelling we have in the house. And I didn't want to tile the whole bathroom because it was such a small space. I didn't want it to feel overwhelming. So we decided to go for like half height panel and painted it in Blues Blue by Paint and Paper Library, which I think is such a lovely bold tone, but it's not like in your face. It's just, yeah, beautiful. And then we paired that back with the Sand 5 Paint and Paper Library, which we've got in the kitchen. So I just think the colours in here all work really lovely together. This is from Bathroom Mountain, I think. It was like not super expensive, but oh my gosh, does it kick out the heat. Honestly, it can be very hot in this room in the winter, but it is a great towel rail. These fish are from Giddy Prints, and I absolutely love how they're mounted with quite a wide mount with the flashes of colour inside, and it's got this textured frame around the edge. And obviously they had to go in the bathroom because clearly it's a fish theme. They're just great, fantastic pieces, love them. Then we go over to here. This just hides all of like the toilet stuff and the pipes. And then this is a fish plate that my friend painted us for our wedding present, and it said made official on the 10th of August. So that's such a lovely thing to have in the home, hanging up as well. And yeah, just really love it. It's a stripe, it's a fish. I mean, what's not to love? She knows me so well. This is just from Zara at Home, but I just love like the crackled glaze and the colour of the fish also. These are just bits that I've collected from like Home Sense. This was from like a trip to Paris, some matches. This I got from an antique shop back at home when it was £3. It was a little boat, which I thought was quite fun. And then this photo is quite funny. It's me and Archie on holiday brushing our teeth, which I thought was quite apt for the bathroom. So yeah, I like to have that bit of humour in each room if I can, and that always makes people laugh because they're not expecting it. This is just a little trinket dish, just with like necklaces in. And then I got this mirror from an antique shop on the A14, and he wanted me to pay like £80 for it. And I said, oh, actually, no, I think I'm going to leave it, but thank you though. And he's like, how much would you pay? And I was like, 40. He was like, okay, sold. I was like, I should have gone lower. But no, it's carved wood and it's really heavy. And I didn't know where I was going to put it when I initially bought it, but it fits perfectly in this space. And yeah, I just really love it. The mirror's got a few scratches on it. It's quite aged, but yeah, I just love it. It's really, really nice. And these wall lights are from Pookie. They're like the mini arm light. And then I got these Cambridge imprint lampshades from Etsy. And I just like the pattern, and you know, it's another tone of green in the room. I just think they're really lovely. And it's just quite nice to have like side lights when you're like, you know, washing your face of an evening. Just, yeah, kind of like, as I say, elevates the everyday, makes it feel like really nice and cozy. So I love that. This sink is from Roper Rhodes, and it's like a marble top. And we've got bathroom storage below, and then just keep a few bits out on top because, you know, you need your everyday bits to hand, don't you? If it's not in front of me, I don't remember. So moisturiser, SPF, hand soap, vitamins, your toothbrush. Yeah, just nice to have a few bits out, but obviously we don't have a lot of storage in here, so you can't go wild. But just your everyday things. I'm just so happy with how the bathroom turned out because it was a really small space and I couldn't really see when it was going on, like how we were going to do it. So I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. So I just bought this fish knocker and I just thought it added to the theme of the room. And again, it was another bit of humour and a bit of fun that people wouldn't really expect. So I always think when you're designing a room, just try and like think outside the box and like what are those little touches that you could add, like the devil is in the detail. What gives a home soul are the people that live there. I think when you walk through someone's door, you can see all the things that they love that they've put together. It's a really soulful and amazing thing because they're a product of their own environment just as you're a product of your own environment, and I think it's so interesting to see how people live. Thanks so much for popping around Homeworthy. I hope you've had as much fun as I've had. Have a great day. See you later. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.